Thank you so much for volunteering. Rising Sun is thrilled to be hosting Night to Shine again, and we want to make sure that you get all the information you need before that special night. Night to Shine is an unforgettable prom night experience centered on God's love for people with special needs ages 14 and older. It's celebrated annually through church hosts around the world on the Friday before Valentine's Day each year. This event has established itself as an official invitation for people with special needs and their families to find a community of support through their local church and the volunteers who welcome them with open, loving arms. Some of the important times you'll want to know for Night to Shine are that if you're a volunteer, that evening we will ask for you to arrive at 4:30. If you are doing any job other than being a buddy, and from 4:30 to 5 o'clock, you guys will have a meal upstairs in the loft, and then at 5 o'clock, you will go to your work area, check in with your team leader, and make sure that you have any last minute instructions covered. Buddies, you guys don't have to arrive now until 5 o'clock, and this is different than last year. Make sure that you're coming in the west doors, and the first counter you'll see when you come in is where you will get your badges and go ahead and head upstairs to put away any coats and jackets. Remember, you guys will be eating dinner with your special guest as a part of the evening activities. And then everybody's going to gather in the gym for our pep rally at 5:10. And then once we're finished with that, we'll go back to our areas and make sure we're ready for our special guest to arrive at about 5:45. We want to talk a little bit about your interactions with the guest. And the first thing we can tell you is honestly just leave all your expectations at the door. Every guest is going to be different. The way they interact with you and the way they participate in activities may be very different than what you had imagined. But really just kind of take a lead from them and follow what their ideas are. The main thing for you is just to be a friend. We want this to be a fun night for them. So follow their interest, encourage them to try new things. But if they just want to spend all night in the karaoke room, that's okay. One of the most important parts of the Night to Shine evening is to make sure that we are showing our guests God's love. We really want them to know how important they are, and we really want to slow down and just have time to interact with them and with their families. Make sure that they know how special they are. And then we also want to make sure that we're using people first language. And that means that we're not identifying anybody by their abilities or we're making comments on that. Really just avoid all that together. And the next page will show you some things that we don't want anyone to say. You can take a minute here and read through the phrases that we've suggested as alternatives. These we hope will not be offensive and will help you to be able to identify with your guest if that is necessary. However, you probably don't need to refer to their ability level at all. Really, the goal is just to make sure that their feelings are being respected and that we are just noticing their emotions and deciding if they're having a great time and making sure that they are participating in ways that are comfortable to them. Many of our guests will have different ways of communicating when they are out and about in the community. And so some of them will need to have service animals or wheelchairs and things like that. So we want to make sure that we're being cautious about that. So here's a few tips that you can use to make sure that all your interactions are very pleasant. Also, if you have any questions, here's my email. I definitely want to make sure that we get those answered before the night of the event. If you're a buddy, you're going to finish watching this video and get some more details from Whitney, and she'll give you her email as well. So you'll reach out to her first, but everyone else, I'm your coordinator for that. And so you can reach out to Sandy at that Rising Sun Church NTS at gmail.com. This year's theme is Masquerade Ball. It's going to be a beautiful night, lots of fun. Make sure if you decide to wear a mask that it's something that can be easily removed just in case one of our guests is not comfortable during the evening. But otherwise, please plan to come and just really enjoy what a fun theme this will be. Thank you so much for learning about Night to Shine. If you are not a buddy, then you are all done. And thank you so much for completing this. We look forward to seeing you at Night to Shine. If you are a buddy, hang on. You've got just a couple more minutes and then you'll be all done. All right, buddies, this next part is just for you. So we want to make sure that you understand what your role is for Night to Shine. So as far as your special guest knows, you are their very best friend for the night. You are the one who's going to hang out with them and make sure that they get to enjoy all of the incredible centers to visit there during the night. And during the night, you want to make sure that you're ready to take them on the dance floor, to enjoy limo rides, and to make sure that they have a fantastic night. The biggest question that we get from buddies is, what do I need to wear? And so we're going to ask that you do come dressed semi-formal. You don't have to wear a prom dress, although you're welcome to, but please dress nice and make sure that you're dressed appropriately. Your guests will usually be dressed up very nicely too. Some of them will be in prom attire. So make sure that you're ready to kind of match them in that. And then also make sure that you remember you are going to be on your feet the whole night. So you're going to be walking, you're going to be dancing, you're going to be busy, and you do have to keep your shoes on. So make sure you wear shoes that are going to be comfortable. Everyone that is volunteering and all our guests will actually be wearing a tag. And these are very important. They're going to give you lots of information about your guest, not only their name, but also if they have any dietary restrictions, if there are food allergies that you need to be careful of, or if they might need help like cutting their food or things like that. They'll also have some information about whether they'll be able to take photos or not. So make sure that when you meet your guests that you take a copy of their tag and put it in the back of yours because you want to make sure that you're able to refer to that throughout the evening. As you're waiting for your buddy to arrive, you will be upstairs and then you will be called down. There will be one buddy for each guest. There's no grouping up, so just so you know that. If you have a buddy and a guest and another buddy and guest that want to walk around together, that's great. But we will just be assigning one buddy per guest. And then once they've got their boutonniere on and you've got their tag, then you're going to be ready to head down the red carpet and enjoy just a fantastic night. Dinner is going to be provided for all the buddies and the guests as well. And so you guys will be able to go through that buffet line together and choose what you want. As far as we know right now, there are going to be some different pasta options. Your guests will be able to go through that with you, unless, of course, their tag says differently. Some guests are going to come with their permanent caregivers, and that person will help with the dinner process if they need a little extra assistance. At 7 o'clock, we're going to ask that everybody comes back to the gym to get ready for the crowning ceremony. We want to make sure that all the guests are there to hear the announcement, and then they may also need some help coming up to the table to receive their crown and their sash. Remember that those are for the guests only, so please help us to make sure that we have those saved just for those special guests. You are allowed to take your cell phone with you throughout the evening. Please make sure you're taking pictures and post them to social media and tag Rising Sun Church of Christ so that we can also post them and share them with the Tim Tebow Foundation. If, however, your guest has a red dot on their badge, please do not take their photos. Their family does not want that posted, and we want to be respectful of that. We also want to make sure that you're really paying attention to your guest and not being distracted by your phone. So if that's a problem, when we see you just sitting on your phone, they may ask you to take it to the registration desk and leave it there to the end of the evening. All the guests are going to have a formal prom photo taken, and those will be on the south side of the gym area or where the dance floor is. And so that will be set up. And we want to make sure that if there's a dot on their badge, then those are not going to be posted to social media. So you'll want to communicate that with the photographer when you're back there. Please remember that the night to shine really needs to be 100% about our special guest. So we want to love on them and make sure that we show them how excited we are that they're here with us for the evening. We want you to have a blast and remember what an exciting opportunity this is for everyone. If you have any questions, you're going to reach out to Whitney. This is her photo and this is her email, so you can ask any questions that you have from her. Thank you so much for completing this training, and we are so, so grateful to have you as a buddy for our special guests.